welcome to our series of quick topics here, tight topics for Photoshop. This one's going to be a pretty simple one. I'm going to just talk about the workspace and simplifying the workspace. And I'm going to talk mostly about the right-hand side panels, all those things you can do to the top menu and the left-hand toolbar. But let's talk about the panels on the right-hand side because that can get pretty complicated. One of the problems with Photoshop is there is so much you can do to it. You really don't need everything that's shown. Let me just get rid of the picture of me, first of all. And I'm just giving you this picture in the middle to give you something to look at. We're not going to work on this picture. What we're going to work on is the right-hand panels over here, all right? And you'll see the, if you go to the very top up here, you can pick, there are several selections for panels. You would think, you'd start off, if somebody didn't know Photoshop, they'd pick something like Essentials, right? And if I pick the Essentials panel, it opens up the Essentials. Well, my God, there's just really too much. There's that you don't want to pick Essentials, I can tell you that right away. What you're probably going to want to do, more than anything else, is pick what you might think is the basic, and you can stop right here, pick Photography, okay? That simplifies the panel and changes it quite a bit. As you look at this panel on the right-hand side, these little arrows up here. There's also, if I move the cursor over the line there, you'll see it changes. Okay, so as I change I can draw out, for example, the things that are behind that line there. You can see that. Okay, and if I put it here, I can do the same sort of thing. I can draw that out back in and out. And this, if I click the little arrows up here, expand panels. These are panels here. Okay, these are things that could be expanded. So I can expand these panels out so you can see them all the way. You typically wouldn't want them expanded out. You'd want them this way. And the same thing here. I can collapse these panels here into a little toolbar here. I typically don't do that. I usually keep them these expanded, these contracted like this. And then of course there's tools within here. Now the question you can ask yourself is, do you want all these tools? There's ways of simplifying it. Now all the tools you see over here can be found under Windows and all these sort of things. So if you want more tools that you don't see over there, you can pick one of these, or you can pick less of these. Okay, you can unclick them or click them. Okay, so whatever you get rid of doesn't mean it's gone forever. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to modify this tools, and the way you do that in Photoshop is you can take any tool and clicking on the name up here, for example, histogram. I can pull it out. Okay. If I do that, I can now put it back anywhere I want. I can put the histogram. Do you see that little blue line that shows up here? If I drop it right there, it's going to drop it right in that tab area. Or so you can see the little line there. If I drop it here, it'll drop it as a tab in there. Or I can drop it back here as a tab, or I can put it back up here with it as a tab. Okay. So you can move things around. Now, just for the heck of it, I'm telling myself I don't need certain things. What this navigator is, for example, is if I'm zooming in on a picture, it'll tell me where I'm zoomed in on and things like that. I don't typically use the navigator, so what I'll do is I'll take these. I'm going through the simplification process now. I started with a photography workspace, and then I get rid of navigator. I don't need it. Histogram, I'm not going to use that. Some people use the histogram lighted up there. I find I use the histogram. A lot of these tools have histograms in them. Adjustments, again, you don't really need them, because if you'll look at the layers here, right down here, if I click, these are the adjustments. They're the same ones as up here. So rather than have them in two places, I can take the adjustments and move them out. Okay, and click the little X, got rid of that. All right. Now I'm getting down to, some people don't use libraries. I do. I have one of my skies in here stuff, but I'm going to leave the libraries in for myself. You could do the same thing, drag it off. Layers, channels, and paths. Paths probably won't use. I'll leave them in there for the time being. Something I do not see in here is properties. Although if I go over here, let's just say that's information. There's properties. Okay, I'm going to take this properties one and drag it out here, expand it out. I'm going to take properties now, and I'm going to drag it into up here by libraries. Okay, I do use properties a lot, and I think you'll find using properties is a helpful thing to have up there. So I've got libraries, and so what you see I'm doing is just creating my own side panel over here. Actions I do use. I'll keep them right there. That's where I like them. This is history. I can either leave history here, right, or I can take history and I will take the history and put it over here by layers, just as a tab over by layers. Okay. Now you can see it came right over here. I'd like history right next to layers. I can move it over here. Now I've got layers, history, channels. Let me just do something. I'll take history as over. Paths I don't use very often, but I'll leave them there. I use them sometimes. You may not want them there. And so actions I'll leave here. Information I'll leave here. Clone source, I really don't need that. I don't know why that's in here. And that's pretty good. Let me see if there's any other windows up here. For me, I know what I do. I do like using text character styles characters. So I'm gonna go and click characters. It's spinning here. Hold on. Okay, character. It just added it here. I'm going to leave that here because I use that a lot. The other thing, because I do a lot of graphics work, I'll also use character styles. Actually, brush settings. I'll do brush settings for myself too. Yeah, brush settings. I have a pen that I use, and a lot of these allow me to turn on pen controls, pen pressure, and things like this. So pen settings I'll use also, and I'll leave them on the side panel. So right now I've got layers, channels, history, paths, libraries, and properties up here, and I've got some of the settings, things I like here. Paragraph styles, really don't need that one. Character, yeah, it's fine. I'll leave characters because actually you can get that in the properties channel. So I'm going to take these out. I don't need them because when these will show up, these particular things when I'm working with text, this properties panel will show some of those same things. So I've got this now set up with actions, information. I'm not sure I really need that. No, I'll say information I don't need either. I can always add these in. Okay, I do use this texting, so this is text and brushes here. I use that. Libraries, properties. And there you go. I've simplified the channel. Now once I've simplified the channel, I can go. I do already have some workspaces here, but I'm going to say new workspace. Okay, and I'm going to call this workspace my. Like a second. Simple workspace. If I can spell. Yeah, spelling's not my strong point. You can also save any menu settings you've got and a lot of other things here, but this I'm just saving my simple workspace. Now, for example, the way that works is I've got my simple workspace here. So if I were to go back to photography, for example, since I played around with photography, I'm going to actually reset photography. Now this is the original panels that we saw over here. If I want to go back to my workspace, simple workspace that we just created, I can pick that. Okay, so this is the workspace that I set up for myself, and that's how you do it. These can be modified as can these. This can be a double panel here. You go back here and you can select the tools that you want on this left-hand side. Same way that you'd edit toolbar. You can select tools that you want by moving them over here or deleting them off. I'm not going to get into that too much now, but there is a way of reducing and selecting tools. I would leave this alone on the left-hand side. I would also leave the menu on the top alone. What I would do is work on the right-hand side. And I hope that helped explain. Thank you.